Hello and welcome to another episode of Lights, Camera, Chaos. And we're going to go and revisit our conversation with Michael Dodd when he was working for the Australian Broadcasting Corporation as a roving reporter. And he's going to talk about his further experience with Dame Edna Everage and how he met him, because it was, of course, Barry Humphries, outside Buckingham Palace. It's really fun. I hope you enjoy it. Wow. And of course, one of her favorite phrases was shake your gladdy, wasn't it? Shake your gladdy.
She liked gladiola. In fact, in her own shows, if people in the UK or beyond who are flocking the world to watch Lights, Cameras, Chaos, if they ever had a memory of the Dame Edna Everage show, at the end of it, she would be there with Madge Alsop, the former bridesmaid who didn't have much personality deliberately, who was actually quite a masterly actress herself.
Right.
I mean, Dame Edna would explain that she was from New Zealand and therefore didn't have any personality. But I mean, we now know we've had Jacinda Ardern, who has personality and was a wonderful advertisement for New Zealand. I didn't media train her, by the way, but I thought she was always a brilliant media performer as Prime Minister. But Madge Alsop and Dame Edna would be on the stage, and people which had, I don't think they arrived with gladiola, but I think the gladioli were distributed by the team, and they would be throwing the gladioli on stage, and Dame Edna magnificently and Madge very tentatively would be picking up all these gladioli and throwing them back to the audience. And if you want a picture of Lights, Camera, Chaos, that was it. But it always worked.
I'm going to see if I can find a clip of when she actually did that, or
You
he
probably
did that.
think, Dexter, that I'm making this up, but I reckon if you look hard enough, it will be out there.
We will find
Dame
it.
Edna, Madge Alsop, and the gladioli.
It's Gladdy time, a famous moment in my lovely shows. There's a Gladdy for you too, Ian, and the little Sammy there. It's Gladys. Just close your eyes, catch it with your teeth. There's nothing I like more than the whistle and smack of a Gladdy.
Wonderful.
Here's your challenge.
Great stuff. Great stuff. Now, you have another story, don't you, about, well, I won't preempt it. Tell us the second
Well, this is another
Dame
Edna Everage story, but with a difference. Because this was many years after I used to watch her in the studio as Barry Humphries. One day, I was working in the Australian Broadcasting Corporation London office, the pinnacle of life as an Australian foreign correspondent.
Yeah.
And we got this invitation to potentially, amongst the cast of thousands of other reporters, locate ourselves outside Buckingham Palace, and we were told Dame Edna would arrive in a black taxi. And I thought, well, this sounds great. The ABC will love this. I know they like exclusive interviews with Dame Edna, but I'll go along with the riffraff, my fellow reporters, and see if I can get a sort of almost personalised interview within it. So we're waiting outside Buckingham Palace, and there was quite a mob of us, a media scrum, as we call it. And sure enough, this black taxi, a particularly posh-looking black taxi, it has to be said, turned up, and out steps, in all her magnificent regalia, was Dame Edna Everage. Wonderful sunglasses, wonderful makeup,
big
a
hair,
fabulous Australian frock, messively big purple hair. I had a grandmother who had purple hair, but not quite as purple as Dame Edna. She was there, and of course, our job was to mob her, which we all did. And I'm there with my ABC camera trying to throw in the occasional question along with everyone else. And it was basically chaos, but very elegantly witty chaos, because she would find a way with every question to turn it around to her main message. Now, in media training, which I later became a media trainer, you do need to get across your main message. But Dame Edna was almost like sending that up, because the reason she turned up in a black cab was not because she could afford a black cab, but because she was being sponsored at the time by black cabs. And basically, and this was probably in the early 1990s, And at the time, there were these things called minicabs, which were popping up
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
You might still remember them, Dexter.
Yeah.
And they were proving to be tough competition for the black cabs. So they seemed to employ Dame Edna to tell everyone how wonderful black cabs were, but there's a dark side. Because given that she had this waspish sense of humor, every great answer about how wonderful black cabs were, even though the questions were nothing to do with black cabs at all, she would turn it around somehow. But she would not only say how wonderful the black cabs were, she would diss minicabs. She would talk about rides where people would be going 1 mile and the minicab would be driving around the M25 several times before they deposited there and charged them a fortune. Now, I'm not trying to say that's true, and I've had very successful minicab arrangements with wonderful minicab drivers, some of whom even speak English. And those who don't try very hard and still somehow communicate with you, which is great for my vast knowledge of foreign languages, which I know a tiny word from here and a tiny word from there. And so she would be dissing these minicabs, whatever we asked her. And that was great, but it wasn't sort of just exactly what the Australian Broadcasting Corporation lords and masters of mine would be wanting from this situation.
Absolutely.
So towards the end, I said, "Oh, Dame Edna, can I have an Australian Broadcasting Corporation exclusive?" And wow, that was like, her eyes really did light up because obviously one of her target audiences was Australians.
Yes.
In Australia. And so before I could say anything, I was pretty much whisked into this taxi.
Into the black cab.
Where, yeah, not a minicab, as I was reminded. Tape recorder rolling, Dame Edna there in full regalia. She was sitting like with her back to the driver, which meant I was facing the way we were going. And she said, basically, yes, you can have your exclusive interview. I'm going to my exclusive hotel somewhere in London, and which would be close to the ABC anyway. So we kind of had a deal, and I got my world exclusive interview with Dame Edna, which was great. It did kind of carry on a bit in the vein of the free-for-all earlier, but it was me asking all the questions, including some attempted blowtorch on the belly questions to put her under pressure. But Dame Edna really never wilted under pressure. She shone under pressure. She did diss the minicabs, and she did say how wonderful black cabs were, even though I had no questions about that whatsoever. But of course, it was her. It was hilarious. And this was greatly received back in Australia. And my career as a foreign correspondent continued.
So that's it. His episode with Dame Edna Everage and the Black Cab. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please like, comment, be kind, and subscribe. There'll be more next week. See you then. Have a good one.